Welcome to Niger News Series, where we break down the headlines that matter the most, making sense of the complex, in ways that truly connect. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. This famous quote, often attributed to Edmund Burke, underscores the danger of silence in the face of injustice. In a democracy, where power is meant to serve the people, silence can be more damaging than opposition. When leaders and institutions fail to challenge excesses in governance, they enable the erosion of democratic principles, allowing authoritarian tendencies to take root. Speaking truth to power is not just a moral obligation, it is a safeguard against tyranny. In times of political crisis, when constitutional breaches threaten the stability of a nation, the voices of courageous leaders become the last defense of democracy. Today, as Nigeria faces a storm of controversy over President Tinubu's actions in Rivers State, two prominent figures have broken their silence, warning of the dangerous precedent being set. Their statements serve as a reminder that democracy thrives when leaders stand up, not when they stay silent.
And of course, what is happening in Nigeria today regarding the situation in Rivers State is like an Indian proverb that said that if somebody is sleeping, really sleeping, you can easily wake up that person. But if the person is pretending to sleep, you find it difficult to wake up that person. The key actors in Nigeria, from executive to the legislature, luckily Senator Binta and others are here, and the judiciary, they know the correct thing to do. But they are refusing to do it. They are pretending to sleep. And waking such a person is extremely difficult because the person knows the right thing. A clear abuse of offices, clear abuse of power, clear abuse of privileges, cutting across from the three arms of government, from the executive to the parliament to the judiciary. And I always plead with our people that whatever we do affects everybody. And sometimes we do things and we think that it doesn't affect us. I've been a president before, and even after leaving office as a former president, people get to me. Why is that our passport is not valued that much? Why is that Nigerians are not given the kind of treatment we're supposed to receive at the international airports? Sometimes we think it's because of Yahoo boys or 419ers. No, not only them. Yes, they are part of the problem. But whatever happens in a country, decisions that are taken by the executive arm of government, decisions that are taken by the parliament, judicial decisions affect everybody. For example, no businessman can bring his money to invest in a country where the judiciary is compromised, where a government functionary can dictate to judges what judgment they will give. No man brings his money to invest in that account because we are taking a big risk.
Yeah. Let me confess that I was surprised at the ease with which this emergency law, that step, was applauded and passed. And then the critical question, even within the powers of a president on a democratic dispensation, there are areas of discretion. And you're quite right to point out this wholesale suspension of everything to government. I think that's an over excessive response within the rights and the powers. We're assuming now, let's say that the president is constitutionally right, but within his powers, there are also areas of discretion. And I think that the wholesale scuttling of the democratic existence in the rivers was excessive. I think it could have been managed much better, much more economically. I think the president did not sort of curb the extent. He didn't economize on his presidential emergency powers. On that issue, I agree with you absolutely.
The controversy surrounding President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State has intensified, drawing sharp criticism from prominent Nigerian figures, including former President Goodluck Jonathan and Wole Soyinka, a key ally of President Tinubu, who has in recent times faced public outrage for his support of the administration's policies. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has expressed profound concern over President Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State, characterizing it as a clear abuse of power that undermines democratic institutions. Speaking at the Hasco Satomari Foundation colloquium in Abuja, Jonathan lamented the suspension of elected officials, asserting that such measures tarnish Nigeria's international reputation. He emphasized the imperative of adhering to democratic processes and cautioned against setting perilous precedents that could destabilize the nation's democracy. Echoing these sentiments, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has criticized President Tinubu's actions, asserting that the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State contravenes the essence of federalism. In an interview, Soyinka argued that Nigeria's constitution endows the president with excessive powers, rendering the federal system overly centralized. He advocated for constitutional reforms to ensure a genuine federal structure, stating, "If it is constitutionally right, then I think it is about time we sat down and amended the constitution to make sure that it operates as a genuine federal entity." Conclusion. Implications for Nigeria's democracy. The unfolding events in Rivers State have ignited critical discourse regarding the balance of power and the resilience of Nigeria's democratic institutions. The executive's recent actions, coupled with the legislature's support, have sparked debates about the potential erosion of the checks and balances essential for a healthy democracy. In a country like Nigeria, where democracy is still evolving, the role of prominent leaders in holding power accountable cannot be overstated. Their voices serve as a moral compass, reminding both the government and the people of the principles upon which a just society is built. When leaders like former President Goodluck Jonathan and Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka speak out, they reinforce the idea that no one, not even the president, is above the law. Their words send a powerful message that governance must be rooted in constitutionalism, not personal or political convenience. They remind Nigerians that democratic institutions must be protected from unchecked power, and that every act of impunity, if left unchallenged, becomes a precedent for greater abuses in the future. In a democracy, silence is not an option. If the voices of reason remain mute, the space is quickly filled by oppression and tyranny. It is through courageous truth-telling that democracy is strengthened, accountability is enforced, and the will of the people is upheld. As Nigeria navigates the challenges of governance, the responsibility to speak truth to power remains not just a duty, but an obligation for all who believe in justice, fairness, and the rule of law. Thanks for watching Niger News Series. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more breaking news and in-depth analysis.